recruiting a little bit, Connor. Obviously, it might not as big of a weekend as last year, like it was, but we did have some big time names come through. And Jeremiah Smith, that has been all the noise that has came out of honestly this weekend, especially being on Monday. I talked on Monday, I think it was, or Sunday. I can't remember when we had this show. I think it was Sunday, where it felt like it was a business meeting, right? I'm excited he wants to be a part of this. It feels like he wants to stay in Florida, but Ohio State and Heartline offer a hell of an opportunity to go to that next level. But for the fact that it keeps coming back to FSU and Florida, it says like, look, I want to stay close to home. We just got to give me a reason to stay. Does that seem to kind of be the pulse of what's going on with Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah, I'll say that I'll say one thing. Jeremiah Smith is elite at the recruiting process. He is as good as you find at giving you headlines that you want to write about. Obviously, I'm sure you saw on the timeline where he called Mike Norvell the best head coach in college football, which I thought was an interesting quote. But yeah, I mean, he's not been shy about keeping his options open. Like you said, Ohio State gives him the opportunity to be that next first round draft pick that they seem to produce every year. And Brian Hartline's got as good a track record as anybody in college football at getting guys to the next level. But Florida and Florida State are certain stuff to think about. Do I think anybody is imminently going to flip him? No, not necessarily. I think he's comfortable at Ohio State. I think he knows that he's going to be developed there and has the opportunity to be the next first round pick from Ohio State. But he's not closing the door on programs like Florida and Florida State. And both of those programs are doing a good job of making him feel like a priority. And
What do you think he needs to see this season? What would really kind of flip the switch for Jeremiah Smith? Because that's also been the talk too. It's like, look, I love what I've seen thus far, but I need to see more of it on the field. I need to see where you're headed. Now, I think with DJ Lagway, will we get the full package? I don't know. I've got some thoughts on that when we get into the Graham Mertz part of things because Shane Matthews spoke to what he thinks the offense is going to be ran like, which is a phenomenal take. Which he was kind of hinting that he thinks this is going to be more passing than what we're all implying, right? It's not going to be this kind of just the run in up your throat mentality. Is that a takeaway as well that Smith is going to be focused, again, what the production on the field is for Florida this year?
yeah, of course. And anybody that tells you winning doesn't matter is lying to you. Now, granted, I don't think it's as big of a factor as it used to be, especially with NIL coming into play with a lot of these kids. But winning is certainly going to be a factor. If Florida, for some reason, just the wheels fall off on the season, they go 4-8. Jeremiah Smith's not going to come to a 4-8 team. He wants to be able to play on the biggest platforms, and that itself, one is the SEC, but second off, it's going to be an opportunity in his 3 years at whatever school he chooses to attend is the opportunity to play in the college football playoff. And if he sees Florida building in that direction after going 6-7 last season, maybe they jump to 7-5 with an opportunity to go 8-5 in a bowl game this year. That is a positive trend. Eventually lead to Florida getting to the college football playoff with players like Xavier Filsaime, DJ Lagway, Jeremiah Smith coming in to kind of put them over the top. So yes, winning and all of that is very important, and he will be watching that this season from both in-state programs.